left fielder, batting leadoff, followed by the former Pirate and batting champion Freddie Sanchez. Then Randy Wynn, Pablo Sandoval, who's third in the NL in hitting, Juan Uribe, Travis Ishikawa, Aaron Rowan, Eli Whiteside getting the start behind the plate for Benji Molina, and Brad Penny on the mound. And they're getting ready to face the Southern California native John Garland, 10-11 on the year, but looking to go 3-0 since coming over in a trade from Arizona back on August 31st. And here's the sprint pitcher profile for John Garland.
For John Garland, his sinker, making use of it. Good use of that sinker, movement over velocity so it doesn't stay flat in the zone. Keep a steady pace, especially with men in scoring position, man on base. And uses ballpark where history tells me he has a 2.37 ERA in this favorable ballpark to pitch in Dodger Stadium.
As usual, a late arriving crowd, but they're getting ready to enjoy themselves the afternoon, and so should you, because you want to reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Brad Penny trying to calm himself down, and he picked up the win against his old team Sunday in San Francisco. It'll be a little different this afternoon in hostile territory. Eugenio Velez got the Giants rolling last night with a leadoff homer off of Vicente Padilla. And he looks at strike one. So says Bob Davidson. Velez hitting .277 on the year, 5 homers, 27 RBI. And Bruce Bochy says this guy is truly our spark plug. Ball hit to left. Ramirez drifting back, still going back, and it's off of Manny's mitt. Velez is going to stop at second. And this time it's Manny being Manny in left.
Watch Manny go back. He seems like he feels like he's got it measured up. Now remember, daytime baseball much different than any ballpark around baseball around the league. And we have to get back to the wall and play forward. Manny trusted too much. The Marine air at night much different than it was here. Obviously today that ball's carrying very well.
Air on Ramirez, who misplayed a couple of balls last night, including a pinch hit double by Fred Lewis. In fact, Lewis said, I'm going to have to go buy Ramirez dinner for misplaying that one. Led to a rally in the 6th for the Giants. This is a 3-time All-Star Freddie Sanchez. Looking to bunt, lays it down in a beautiful bunt. Garland's going to glove it, tag Sanchez out as Velez moves to third. Let's take a look at the defense for the Dodgers this afternoon, which has already made some noise thanks to Manny's air, his 4th of the year. Kemp in center, Ethier in right, Blake for Cal, Belliard getting the start at second, and Loney at first, Mark and Garland, the battery this afternoon. That brings up Randy Wynn, hitting .265 on the season. Switch hitting right fielder. Happy to see a right-hander on the mound. It's been a disaster from the right side of the plate for Wynn this year. Hitting a touch over 150, and he looks at ball one.
One thing for Randy Wynn, who handles the bat so well, is to look at what the infielders are doing right now. They're giving you this run, middle of the field. He's a good inside-out hitter. Don't try to pull it. Don't try to get underneath it. Use the middle of the field on the ground.
Fouled away. The umpiring crew, we already introduced you to Bob Davidson, James Hoy over at first, the crew chief Tim Tashida at second, and Jeff Nelson rounding out the crew. Garland, a Southern California native, grew up a Dodger fan out in the San Fernando Valley and Granada Hills. John F. Kennedy High School. One inside.
John Garland, he's going to keep you in the game, but it is so important that you catch the ball for him. He's going to keep that pace. Sometimes he seems to slow it down with men on base as he is doing right now, but you have to make plays behind him. He'll keep you in the game.
There's a ball ripped to right. Ethier is going to glove it, but Velez will easily tag and score. And just like last night, Velez touches the dish to give the Giants a 1-0 lead thanks to Manny's air.
Pablo Sandoval.
Good professional here. Randy Wynn uses what is given to him. And trust me, Manny doesn't feel that good right now. You mentioned last night, and the ball's hit by left-handed hitters to left field. A lot of times your feet get tangled, you don't take the appropriate angle, and that's what's happened here the last couple of days.
Well, this guy will hit him to left, he'll hit him to center, he'll hit him to right, he'll hit him over the fence, he'll hit line drives. He's just a hitter. 320, third in the NL, and 4 for 4 lifetime against John Garland with a home run. And Pablo Sandoval looks at ball 1.
And he's impressive in so many ways, but he hits better at home than on the road.
And there's a ball ripped to right center. It's going to get over Kemp's head and against the wall, and it will bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. His NL leading 42nd on the season.
Simple approach, lift that leg, wait, and throw the hands. That's why the league knows so much about Sandoval, who's become also a great guest hitter. As I talked to some of the pitchers around the National League, he knows when to sit on breaking balls in the outspeed. He showed it again.
Well, Sandoval's so impressive. Just 23 years old, switch hitter. Talk about a guy that can hit. Juan Uribe stepping into the box. Has a 7-game hitting streak, a .292 average, and hitting .373 in the month of September. Only Pujols and Derek Lee have a higher average in the NL.
Well, consider that the Giants are a ball club, but they're out there to swing the bats. They're not looking to work counts. They see something they like, they are hacking.
Last in the bigs in walks, Bruce Bochy's squad. The 0-1 pitch is ripped, but Manning is going to glove it. And a nice little sarcastic cheer. And Ramirez, followed by Matt Kemp, James Loney, Casey Lake, Ronnie Belliard getting the start for the O-Dog, Russell Martin, and John Garland. And they are getting ready to face a determined Brad Penny. 7-8 this year up in Boston, cut loose toward the end of August, signed on the 31st by the Giants. He is 3-0 so far and returned to the Penny of old. And here's your sprint pitcher profile, Brad Penny.
Very easy. Stay in that. Also, he's going to set the intense tone early. He's got to run to work with right now, Chris.
He will face the switch hitter, Rafael Furcal. Delivers strike one. Furcal has hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games, but still that average, just 255. He's on pace for the worst hitting year of his career. The 0-1. Ball ripped right up the middle, a base hit. So Andre Ethier, who is having a monster season. But the best news for Bruce Bochy and the Giants, this isn't the ninth inning or later. This is just the first. Ethier with 6 walk-off hits this year, 4 walk-off homers, including one more this week.
Lefties and righties, it doesn't matter what the situation is. He has been huge. And one thing, Brad Penny, fastball pitcher, batting second, good fastball slot. Be ready.
And he catches the inside corner for a called strike. For Cal, in case you're wondering, 7 for 12 in stolen bases this season. As you can see, the defense playing Ethier pretty straight away and deep.
That number is down only because of the issues he's had with his back. Because for Cal's a guy capable of stealing 40, 50, or even 60 bases.
Keep an eye on for Cal. Andre Ethier just continues to develop, raise his game. 21 of his 30 homers have come right here at Dodger Stadium. That is the most by a left-handed hitter in the 47-year history of this venue.
Watch Ethier. Watch the approach with the hands where he's located in the batter's box. Keeps it quite simple. The most important thing for him is separation between step, which he wants to keep short, and the hands separation. Nice and quiet.
The 1-1. Ball's hit to center. Aaron Rowan comes in a few steps, and there's one away. And here comes Manny. Let's see how the crowd reacts. Well, more favorable than not, but obviously letting him have it after that first inning error. Allowed the Giants to get on the board.
For Manny, nothing he hasn't faced before when he was at Cleveland, Boston, now here in LA.
This is his first ever at bat against Brad Penny. Looks at ball one. Manny last night went deep for the 19th time this season, 546th time in his career. Only Junior, A-Rod, and Manny's teammate yet again, Jim Thome, ahead of him among active players. Ramirez just 2 homers away from Mike Schmidt for 14th place all time. The 1-0 looks at a strike. Now, there's no question, Jose, that they're going to need the Manny Ramirez of last season to show up come playoff time if the Dodgers are fortunate enough to hang on here in order to really make some progress and get to the Fall Classic. This is not the Manny we're used to seeing.
Well, and he understands the responsibility that comes with it. He was outstanding, as he mentioned, all of last season with the Dodgers and the playoffs, but he has come a little bit too anxious at times, trying to create what's not there at the plate.
There goes for Cal, and he is safe.
That's the style for Cal will bring you, the intensity he brings and the difference he can make to change a ball game. especially early, where now he's going to be in Brad Penny's head a little bit and perhaps make an alter either pitch selection or even this thought pattern.
Decent throw by Whiteside. Great scoop by Sanchez, who thought maybe he got him on the backside. 8th steal on the season for Furcal. So a runner in scoring position for Man Ram. The 2-1. All in the dirt. It's 3-1.
And with all the distractions Manny has had, the suspension he served, he was the ever confident player that he's always been. And he told me before the game, hey, I know the numbers are not exactly what they were last year. My approach, the same. My work ethic, the same. He goes, I'm looking for a strong finish. Well, the Dodgers need exactly that.
And Manny looks at ball 4, so Brad Penny in a little bit of trouble here at the bottom of the first.
And over the years, this at bat typifies. And coach knows the importance of this first inning and staying down with the Dodgers. Ramirez, going back to the at bat, a lot of players try to do it in one at bat. That really exemplifies his career. How patient he is in times where guys are not patient.
Well, Joe Torre can't say enough great things about the man stepping into the batter's box now. That's Matt Kemp. 24.
Even bigger for his ball club.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good fastball at 96. And that's something that Penny said he couldn't do last season. He had 3 stints on the DL because of a shoulder issue here in L.A. Once again, we want to apologize. We understand that some of our viewers are having technical difficulties with actually seeing the game. You can hear us, so we'll try and help you out as much as possible. Penny with the 1-2 pitch. Kemp fouls it away. And now the picture is just fine, we understand. But we're happy that this is happening during a baseball game and, say, not American Idol.
I can see you.
Well, that's not good for you. I mean, imagine if that happened with American Idol. The whole network would shut down. It would be over. So here's the situation. Furcal singled and stole second. Ramirez walked. He is at first. The 1-2 pitch by Penny. Ball hit to Uribe. Gloves it. Gets the force at second, but that's all he'll get.
Good job by Uribe reading, first of all, location where the pitch was going to come as Whiteside had called it inside. Kevin gets jammed, and then the first step by Uribe, as we call cheating, you start leaning in that direction. That was why he made that play a little easier than it seemed. There it is. Once you send the back foot, you worry about one thing. The first throw over to second base, and your second baseman forgets about a double play.
So men at the corners now for James Loney. 279 with a dozen homers, 85 RBI. Having a decent power season, but none of those 12 homers have come here in L.A. Looks at an off-speed pitch outside. Loney's last home run here at Dodger Stadium, August 21st of 2008.
Hey, I'll take that production. 85 RBIs, 12 home runs on the road. So what? First place.
That ball's high, 2-0. Penny really working here in the bottom of the first, throwing a lot of pitches.
And right away you get to look early in the game how he's going to work himself, what he'll use to try to get out of jams. And he'll find out on the mound what's working and what's not.
It's 3-0.
There's that changeup. I think Brad Penny has to guard against as Casey Blake waits on deck is with that changeup. Sometimes he has a tendency to slow down his body. Remember, these are guys that saw him pitch with that uniform before.
The 3-0 is ripped to left center, and that's going to get down. McCall scores. Kemp holds on at second as Rowan quickly retrieves it. We're tied at 1.
You know, James Money, wouldn't you take those 12 home runs away from Dodger Stadium and take your 86 RBI? Great approach to hitting. When it comes down to men in scoring position, not trying to pull the ball short to it and drive. Use the whole field.
And it goes from bad to worse for Brad Penny as Casey Blake steps into the box.
You know who feels very good right now? Manny Ramirez.
Feels a little bit better at least because of that mammoth error in the first. There's a strike. 96 again on the gun for Penny. Blake, a 6-game hitting streak. Hitting .429 since missing a handful of games earlier this month because of a bad hammy. So he's in a good groove. It's 1-1. Kemp at second. Loney, the RBI, standing at first. The 1-1 from Penny. Again in the dirt. Good block by Whiteside. Been busy. Casey Blake, just a dependable guy. You can plug these numbers into your lineup just about every year. Came over last season, trade from Cleveland, re-signed in the offseason, a 3-year deal. And it's 3-1.
I asked Manny Ramirez about Casey Blake's acquisition, and he goes, hey, I know the numbers for me were astronomical. You know, with 400 numbered, the RBIs and home runs, but he goes, Casey Blake was our MVP.
Blake has played in the League Championship Series in consecutive seasons. He looks at ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Penny, and the bases are loaded now for the hot-hitting Ronnie Belliard in a quick trip to the mound by the pitching coach Dave Righetti.
Nothing tells me that Brad Penny is over-anxious or over-trying, but you see 24 pitches already accumulated in the first inning. And mainly, I haven't seen yet his fastball command, and that is the one pitch that Brad Penny needs. And this is a mound that pitchers love to pitch on. It's just a matter of finding the comfort zone with your mechanics.
And now Ronnie Belliard, one of those acquisitions that kind of flew under the radar. He came over from the Nationals, and he's been huge, hitting .313, 3 homers, 8 RBI with the Dodgers, .260 overall on the season. And rips one foul, got a good cut.
He is literally, look at this, right through. Literally carrying a big bat. You mentioned .313. He is using a 35-inch bat up there.
Belliard, 3 career grand slams. The 0-1. Ball fouled away down the right side. He's gotten 2 good cuts so far. As you can see, hitting .311 for his career with the bases loaded. Penny has had to work 26 pitches so far in this first inning. The 0-2 delivery. High. Kemp at third, Loney at second, Blake at first. The 1-2 delivery to Belliard. Belliard calls time. Penny came into the game 3-0 as a Giant, a 1.64 ERA. And there's a ball ripped. Velez giving chase, looking up, and it is gone. A grand slam for Ronnie Belliard. Penny knew it the minute he saw it. And so did Belliard.
That is now 4 home runs for the Dodgers in 17 games from Belliard. Not what they got him, is it?
Well, I think it's probably a transaction that nobody paid attention to on the internet. But Brad Penny is paying attention because his team is now down 5-1. As Russell Martin is ahead of the count 1-0, and it's 2-0. For the Dodgers, their 6th grand slam this season. Belliard, who hit a homer in his first at bat as a Dodger, gets the fans going on a Saturday afternoon.
35-inch bat from a guy that stands about 5'9". How many of those have you heard? Hey, guys standing 6'5", 6'4", are not using 35-inch bats.
Yeah, Belliard's barely tall enough to ride the ride over at Disneyland, if you know what we mean. The 3-0 pitch to Martin. There's a strike. Giants bullpen has started to get very busy. Baumgartner, 20-year-old, first-round pick from a couple of years ago, is getting loose. The 3-1. Ball hit up the middle. Uribe to his left. And that'll do it. But some fireworks during the sunshine from Ronnie Belliard. A penny for your thoughts, and he comes up money. Dodgers lead it 5-1. by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only from the Now Network. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by the all-new Taurus from Ford. Drive one. Well, Ronnie Belliard drove one out of the park in the bottom of the first. His 4th career grand slam, part of a 5-run frame against Brad Penny, the former Dodger. And it's 5-1 as we move to the second.
And Joe Torre talked about the importance of having Belliard in there to keep Orlando Hudson fresh down the stretch.
It'll be Ishikawa, Rowan, and Whiteside in the second against John Garland, who's feeling a little bit better about himself than the last time he hit the bump. Ishikawa 268 on the season. Ball hits one to Furcal. Gloves. And there's one away.
Center fielder number 33, Aaron Roy.
Well, the Dodgers, for 160 straight days, have had at least a share of the lead in the NL West. It's currently a 5-game lead over Colorado in the wild card. The Rockies, they lost last night, gave up a lead in Arizona, just a 2.5-game lead over the Giants, but those two teams are done playing one another in the regular season. Aaron Rowan had a good night last night. His 15th homer of the year. Also a single to snap an 0 for 10 slide. Pops one foul.
You know, Chris, and the Giants got themselves back into this. I was talking to Aaron Rowan in regards to that and being out, being in. He goes, hey, so many people have written us off this season, but we have gotten ourselves in a position to strike back. They did against the Rockies, hoping to do it here again.
The 0-1 by Garland. Outside. Aaron Rowan from Glendora, California. Actually attended Cal State Fullerton. Huge Bears fan. Of course, spent some time on the south side of Chicago. Winning a ring with the White Sox, and there rips one to left. Second hit in the afternoon for the Giants.
Aaron Rowan attended my baseball camp, and I'm aging myself.
Don't do this.
Yes.
Listen.
He attended my baseball camp when he was 12 years old. I just can't believe I'm watching this right now.
Does he still call you Mr. Moda?
Never did.
Coach?
Coach? No. At one point, maybe. Not anymore.
What's he call you now?
Hosey.
Hosey, okay. Eli Whiteside stepping in, looking at strike one. Whiteside hitting .213 this season, his lone homer in big league career. Just like Belliard, a grand slam. Trying to rest your starter, Benji Molina, a little bit more if you can. Down the stretch, says Bochy. That one pop foul. Martin gives chase and squeezes it for out number 2. Well, it's time right now for a DirecTV game break. For that, we send it over to Chris Rose. All right, Chris, thank you. That's Miguel Cabrera up in the Twin Cities. A little shallow fly in front of Denard's span and over Denard's span as Placido Polanco scores. And then Joe Mauer again. Can anybody get this guy out? They're tied at 1 in the second. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV.
Can you say MVP American League?
Personally, I don't think there's a question about it. I mean, the Twins just 3 games back. There's been no Justin Morneau's out for the year. Morneau, he finally has the power numbers to go with the average. He's a complete package. In the meantime, Brad Penny stepping into the box and rips one to left. So gets a little bit of that anger out.
And Brad Penny's not going to just step in there and say he's going to be a pitcher now. He's going to be a hitter. He wants the intensity. He wants to be part of the package. Look at this. He knows John Garner's not going to mess around. He's going to be around the zone. Throw it up and let it fly.
For Penny, a career 158 hitter. That's his first hit of the season in 15 at-bats.
158, I mean, that's reasonable.
I think maybe he has to attend the Jose Mota camp. Is he too old to qualify?
You still want him in the big leagues, right?
Well, I mean, why? Hey, listen, if he's going to pay the surcharge, why not? Eugenio Velez reached on Manny Ramirez's error to lead off the game and scored in the first.
You talk about making adjustments defensively. Well, let's take a look at where Manny Ramirez is playing now. Much deeper, and that's one of the adjustments outfielders have to make throughout baseball in these ballparks where the ball carries better in the daytime.
Doesn't matter where he's standing as long as he's got those gremlins, though, in that net. The 0-1. That ball lifted to Ramirez. Is he going to get there in time? He is! And so Manny squeezes it and keeps the Giants off the scoreboard. It's 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the second. Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Well, Brad Penny, after a 33-pitch first inning, back on the hill to face some of his former mates, down 5-1. As you can see, his first three starts, just 4 earned runs for the Giants, a 1.64 ERA. Today, 5 earned in the first.
We tack on to that the fact that he came into this game having walked only 4 batters in those 22 innings. And he walked 2 in that first inning.
Gave up the grand slam to Ronnie Belliard, who has been a huge spark plug for the Dodgers since coming over. A trade from the Washington Nationals. Speaking of coming over from a different team, John Garland. 094, just 6 for 64 this season with Arizona and the Dodgers. Garland looks at a called strike.
See, I knew why the 158 from Brad Penny looked pretty good.
Because you knew we'd be seeing this guy.
Starts with a 0. That's a bad sign.
Now there's a ball hit to Sanchez. 1 up, 1 down.
First inning, Manny Ramirez glides back, just coasting back, and it costs him. So, first inning again. This one is hit to him straight up, but look, he has to retract and go back. So the adjustment is play a little bit deeper, make sure you're playing balls coming in. And here's the difference. Much better angle. The feet are set. Make it easy on yourself, man.
You know, I think a lot of people wonder, though, at age 37, how much better he can get defensively. I mean, listen, it's a challenge for him out there.
You know what? In left field in Fenway Park, I did not see anybody play the ball better than Manny Ramirez. In
recent memory.
Yes, I know Yastrzemski. Oh, yeah, absolutely the best of all. But in recent memory, what I've seen, Manny Ramirez was out there working early every single day. And he played real shallow, took some singles away, knowing that everything over his head was going to be a double.
Rafael Furcal singled, stole a base, and scored in the first. And looks at a strike. Even the count at 1-1. Furcal hitting a little bit better. As you can see, he's safely in 14 of his last 16, but that batting average still not where he wants it. Just 257 on the season. Off-speed pitch fouled away. This is a guy that gave them such a boost. He missed a lot last season. Then come playoff time, all of a sudden you see Furcal doing the things that made Rafael Furcal an all-star in Atlanta.
For so many years, we saw him being that spark on the top of that Bobby Cox lineup. But injuries took a toll on him, just getting himself back.
It's 2-2.
And relate to that one thing with Furcal. He was used to playing in postseason. That's one thing that when he came to the Dodgers, he goes, hey, one thing I don't want to break that I come from Atlanta is I want to keep playing in October. It doesn't matter how deep we go, but I want to keep playing in October.
Well, the magic number is 10 for the Dodgers to clinch their second straight NL West crown. That's something they have not done since 1977 and 78, which is kind of hard to believe with the history of this franchise.
I believe it.
There's the guy that got him there, Tommy Lasorda.
Steve Sachs right next to him.
Part of those World Series teams as well. Ball fouled away.
Well, Tommy had that spark plug with him. Steve Sachs at second base. Get him going. Intense player. Brought a lot to the table.
Energetic as well. Used to work with him over on the cable side at Fox Sports. 3-2 pitch is fouled away. Do it again.
That's a type of foul ball Furcal likes to have, especially with 2 strikes on him, where he's not jumping at the ball, staying inside of it. And if he's late, he's late. He's fighting some things off.
The 3-2 delivery again by Penny. Ball lifted to right. Randy Wynn in a few steps. And there's 2 down. Well, quick reminder that this season, stay connected to MLB on Fox. Follow us on twitter.com/MLB on Fox. We also have MySpace. We've got Facebook. We've got just everything you need. It's a click away. So log onto your computer. Posey, where's your computer, man? Why aren't you helping out the people?
I have you today. I don't need a computer. I got you.
They really care what I'm thinking.
You were reciting the Giants lineup early.
Well, I need to know 1 or 2 things today. Lineups, pitching staffs, that's about it. Well, here's Andre Ethier. He flew out to center back in the first. Hot, humid day, at least humid by Southern California standards this afternoon. Ethier lifts the ball to left. Velez is going to glove it. No damage done by the Dodgers. But they're up 5-1. We'll return to L.A. after word from your local Fox affiliate. third, and Garland starts out Freddie Sanchez with a breaking ball for strike one. Sanchez laid down a sac bunt in the first. Sanchez, one of those solid pickups made by the Giants. Former batting champion with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, guys, just talk about a guy that literally flew under the radar for years. He was a three-time All-Star, but won the batting title 3 years ago. There's an option on him. You would think that the Giants would want to exercise that. A truly professional hitter at the top of the lineup.
He is finally recovering from his shoulder strain. He has had trouble throwing the ball. But he says it's like a hamstring. If you have a strain, you keep playing on it, it's not going to improve. You got to give it time to rest.
The ball is hit into left field for another base hit by Freddie Sanchez.
Right fielder number 2, Randy Wynn.
So now the Giants have the leadoff man on for the second time in 3 innings. He's up Randy Wynn. Guy who saw his playing time diminished about a month ago. Saw Nate Shearholtz out there in right field an awful lot. Usually it'd be Pablo Sandoval in that 3-hole with Benji Molina batting cleanup. But Molina getting the day off. Ball fouled away by Wynn.
Talking to Bruce Bochy before the game when you see Molina and Whiteside. He says anybody with a bat on their hands from my ball club, I have a chance to put in motion for the hit and run. I'll put the hit and run on. I'll have the guy at first base, and this is a good time with a guy like Wynn. At least to work the count, and you don't want a hit and run right now down 4 runs. But keep that hole open between first and second.
Ball ripped just foul down the first base line. Now this is a team that is definitely swing happy. Dead last in all of baseball in walks. In fact, their hitting coach, Carney Lansford's come under a little bit of heat lately. And I think he probably is a guy that sits there and scratches his head and kind of wonders, I don't know, do we try and get these guys to be more disciplined, or do we just kind of let them do what they do? The 0-2 pitch by Garland. Check swing, but he got it.
Going back to Carney Lansford, the thing is, you cannot change players and the personalities, okay? Now, you work with what you have, but if you try to change people, you're not going to have success. You cannot tell an aggressive hitter like Sandoval to start taking pitches. He's not going to be Pablo Sandoval. The one thing that you can change is in the Giants' number here, men in scoring position, 249. Then you change approach, men in scoring position, men on base. But don't try to change it. Creates more problems.
Ripped a double over the head of Matt Kemp back in the first for his NL leading 42nd two-bagger of the season. Swings on the first pitch almost 50% of the time, including right there. You know, there are some guys that just see the ball better against certain pitchers. Pablo Sandoval got perfect 20/20 vision against John Garland. 5 for 5 now lifetime against the lanky right-hander. The 0-1 delivery. Ball ripped just past Loney and foul. So says James Hoy at first. Sandoval's, you saw in the pregame show, a ton of fun. Just a different kind of energy in this Giants clubhouse with him in there. And even though he's only 23 years old, he's kind of accepted that leadership role, or so it seems. I mean, happy-go-lucky all the time, and guys react to that.
Some guys, from the minute they get there, look at Derek Jeter. Feel very comfortable accepting what? Responsibility.
Garland keeping an eye on Sanchez. Garland making his 4th start since being dealt for a player to be named later from Arizona. Spent last year playing in Southern California, but with the Angels, where he went 14-8. The 0-2 pitch, high.
It's a good job by Garland following Russell Martin. You saw before the pitch what Martin wanted. Elevate this fastball. Let's change the eye level. You're a sinker ball pitcher. Guys are more comfortable looking from the waist down, using their hands. And Russell Martin really does not get enough credit for what he does with his Dodger staff.
Keeping a very close eye on Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez singled to lead off the frame. Randy Wynn down on strikes. Now a 1-2 count on Pablo Sandoval. And it's even at 2-2. It'll be Tim Lincecum and Randy Wolf tomorrow in the 3rd and final game of this series. Swing and a miss as Sandoval chased. Back-to-back strikeouts for John Garland, who feels right at home because he is at home. Grew up in Granada Hills, California, about 20 miles from Dodger Stadium, and I love the specs back in the day at John F. Kennedy High School with the Cougars. He was eventually a 1st-round draft pick by the Chicago Cubs. Never pitched for the big league team as he was dealt to the South Side. Won a world championship with Ozzie Guillen and the gang.
Kennedy High School also where his former Angels teammate Garrett Anderson attended.
Not to mention Rod Tidwell. Cuba Gooding Jr.
There we go.
Yeah, we're here. We're here for you. Everybody's knowing it. Rod Tidwell, did he play football there? Juan Uribe flew out to left to end the 1st and down 0-1 in the count. Ball hit on a couple of hops to Blake. Goes the long way. And the Giants strand yet another man. Headed to the bottom of the 3rd. Dodgers up 5-1. And slam. Settled down in the second and now faces Manny Ramirez, who walked back in the first. And Manny looks at strike one. Ramirez 6 homers in his last 16 games, including the 546th of his career last night. A golf shot, much like the one in the playoffs last year against the Cubs. Pretty much off his shoe tops. That high ball he chases and smacks it foul.
Manny's very consistent with his preparation. If you watch Manny Ramirez with batting practice, you go, this guy's a home run hitter. He's punching the ball the other way, staying back, hands inside the ball. Before you know it, you make a mistake, don't crush it during the ball game.
Just outside.
Well, last night you mentioned that. The first multi-extra base hit game he's had in over a month.
Yeah, this guy's not a singles hitter. The 1-2 pitch. Ball lifted foul and out of play. And the crowd giving it to a fan who, much like Manny, dropped it.
Oh, Manny forgot about that already. His team picked him up.
He's much like a defensive back, isn't he?
It's over.
Short memory, short memory. Just high on the breaking ball. And he's still looking for that first strikeout of the afternoon. He does have a couple of walks. The 2-2. Ball lifted down the first baseline. Ishikawa gives chase, but it hits the seats. And that one gloved by the fan. Good effort. Well, how about some fans catching foul balls? This is our Bank of America fan cam. Yeah, that one in Philly. But whatever you do, don't give it to you. Please, whatever you do, don't get. See, yeah, I've been there, pal. But you know what? Still daddy's little girl.
Lovable moment.
Yeah, we want to show the world it's not like it's love. Get MLB banking only from Bank of America. And Manny, the first Dodger to go down on strikes.
Dodgers center fielder, number 27.
Well, Brad Penny
Matt
seems
Kemp.
to have settled down a bit here in the third, but a few moments ago we just caught up with Giants pitching coach Dave Righetti and asked him, what happened in the first?
Well, I think it was pretty obvious. Made some pitches. I think he was probably a little pumped up. You know, the first inning for any power guy too it could be a touchy situation. And him being, you know, maybe a little fired up here. Maybe he was trying to rear back a little bit too hard and you know, try to throw the ball a little bit too hard. But he lost the split that ran back to the middle of the Ronnie Bell yard, and he caught us. You know, but we're hoping for him to settle down here and pitch some good innings for us, get us back in his dugout. I think the guys are confident we're going to swing the bats.
Dave, what does he bring to an already great rotation with you guys?
Well, he's got presence, and you know, he knows the league. I think he's comfortable over here, and he understands pitching. He takes a lot of pride in his pitches and where he's at on the mound, and he's showing an awful lot of young guys who we have here what it takes to you know, to work hard and pay attention to what you're doing out there and not just throwing the ball.
Dave, we appreciate the time. Thanks.
All right, you guys, take care.
Now Penny behind on Matt Kemp, 2-1. And very interesting, Jose, that thing he said, that he's teaching the young guys. That was part of the criticism leveled by Dodgers third base coach Larry Bowa in the offseason, that Brad Penny didn't do his veteran leadership work last season when he was injured. And in fact, Penny and Bowa last weekend in San Francisco basically had a little powwow, peaceful meeting, tried to clear the air a little bit. Here Kemp smashes one to center. Rowan's giving chase, and it is gone. Nothing peaceful about that swing. 25th homer of the year by Matt Kemp. He now has an 11-game hitting streak.
Full extension using the whole field. He recently hit one to right center field against the Pirates. Pretty much the same swing. Something elevated, not trying to do much with it, and using the power provided by the guy on the mound. This time, Brad Penny.
And James Loney hits one deep to right. Win. And it's gone. For Loney, his 13th homer of the year, his first, though, at Dodger Stadium, and his first at this venue since August 21st of last season.
There's a great feeling. Power provided by, again, Brad Penny. He's pushing this one out, I'll tell you. Elevation, daytime baseball, ball carrying. Boy, do they know.
Well, after today, there's one less question James Loney has to answer this season. When are you going to hit that home run at home?
Last season hit 5 of his 13 home runs here at Dodger Stadium.
So for the 9th time this year, the Dodgers go back-to-back. And now it's Casey Blake who walked and scored on Belliard's slam back in the first. Off-speed pitch inside.
Action already in that bullpen in San Francisco. Wallabies Joaquin.
John Garland now staked to a 7-1 lead here in the third. After back-to-back homers by Kemp and Loney, Blake looks at a ball. I was talking with Brad Penny yesterday, and I asked him what did he expect the emotions to be, because he was, he was excited, obviously, to face his former team last week in San Francisco, but now you're coming in wearing an enemy hat. He said, "Listen, I've pitched in the World Series, I've won a championship. It's all the same after that." Well, today things a little bit different for Penny and the Giants. Blake grounds out, so there's 2 down. And even Dave Rigetti just told us during that interview that maybe he came out with a little too much.
As you were asking me before, it's reality. Well, you're going to try to do more against somebody that perhaps you didn't have a good ending with. I see nothing wrong with it. Sometimes it goes your way, and use that and channel it to your advantage.
Well, here's the guy that did the most damage back in the first, Ronnie Belliard, 4th career grand slam. Snapped a 1-1 tie. For Belliard, his 4th homer as a Dodger. This is just his 13th start for LA. He can play second like he is today, short, third. Oh, ripped foul.
So he's making that log that he's using up there look like a 33-inch mat. Look at this thing.
So you said it's a 35-inch piece of lumber, right?
35. That's
what do most guys his size use?
There'll be a 33 and a half, 34, but even big guys right now are not using 35-inch mat. Look at this thing.
The 1-2 pitch by Penny is high.
Now what he was telling me was, and Belliard was saying, was 35 well balanced, about 31 ounces. That's why you see so much whip from his hands.
the count is now full at 3-2. Penny's had plenty of velocity. We've seen him hit 96 several times this afternoon. The question, where's it going, has yet to be answered. And Belliard lays off it. So says James Hoy as they checked it first. Third walk of the afternoon given up by Penny. And here comes Bruce Bochy. Looks like we might have a double switch. Joaquin coming into the game. We'll give you the changes after this. Still has a home here in Southern California. Brad Penny with his shortest outing as a Giant. So the Dodger fans wave goodbye after just 2 2/3 innings of work. They'll give the former two-time All-Star something to chew on in the dugout.
He did have one in 2 2/3, allowing 7 runs. April 28th when he was pitching for Boston. That was at Cleveland.
So now 22-year-old right-hander Waldis Joaquin. And Belliard gets a great jump and a stolen base just like that. The pitch to Martin was a ball. By the time it hit Whiteside's glove, Belliard was about 3/4 of the way there.
Well, this is where we go. Look at this. That was like a 1-6 to home plate. Somebody told Belliard, you go. First pitch.
Third steal of the year for Belliard, who's now in scoring position for Russell Martin. There is a strike. Joaquin made his big league debut back in early August. August 4th to be exact. Sent down the next day. Recalled early September. Ball fouled away by Martin. Double switch made by Bruce Bochy, so Nate Scherholtz in to replace Randy Wynn in right. He will hit the pitcher's spot, which is due up 4th in the top of the 4th. Martin, who's 0 for 1 on the day, down to the count 1-2. Ball hit foul.
That shows you big difference managing American League or National League team when you already lose 2 players and you're only in the 3rd inning.
Well, the good news for Bruce Bochy, he's got plenty of reserves to choose from. 37 players on their 40-man roster are dressed. Ball chop, Sandoval on a couple of hops. Ishikawa with a good stretch the wrong way, and that'll get the Giants out of the frame, but not before him. And then Loney go deep as Loney puts the home back in home run. It's 7-1. Bank of America. Show the world it's not like, it's love. Get MLB banking only from Bank of America. By Zantac. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac. And by Chevy. Well, 3 deep drives, a grand slam by Belliard, and then back-to-back shots by Kemp and Loney, and the Dodgers have a 7-1 lead in the top of the 4th. Every time John Garland gets back out to the bump, he keeps looking up, and he's like, wow, this is nice.
He's been there before. He knows exactly how to approach these type of situations because he's not going to change and look at that scoreboard and say, I have to alter the way I pitch. Not going to happen with John Garland.
He'll face Ishikawa, Rowan, and Whiteside. And Ishikawa with a base hit on the first pitch he sees here in the 4th. Well, it's Saturday, so what does that mean? It's week 2 of the NFL on Fox. Tomorrow, Drew Brees taking it to the city of brotherly love to face Brian Westbrook and the Eagles. Also, don't forget about the Bucks and T.O. and the Bills and Brett Favre. How they doing week 1? Yeah, they're 1-0. There's your slate of games. I'll get started with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Where? Only on Fox.
Will T.O. get the ball this time?
Well, he'll complain about it if he doesn't. He threw his quarterback Trent Edwards under the bus. At least it only took him 60 minutes this year. Well, Kevin Cobb getting that first start tomorrow against the Saints as the McRib is still a little sore. Adrian Peterson, 180 yards in the cover of Sports Illustrated last week against the Browns. And T.O. just those 2 receptions as the Bills blew a Monday night lead at New England. Rowan gets one to short right. Ethier snags it. 1 down.
It's a good job by Andre Ethier playing that ball coming in from behind, understanding also the slice created by an inside-out swing by a right-handed hitter. Well read, good job.
See, he went to your camp.
Maybe Aaron Rowan talked about it.
Eli Whiteside fouled out back in the second. Whiteside, a guy that was an original draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles. Played just a handful of games with them back in 2005, just 9 games. Moved on to Minnesota. Never made it out of the minors there. And so really his rookie season now at age 29. And with all due respect, looks every bit of it. Son's helmet, it is gray hair under there. So Whiteside with the white dew.
About Bruce Bochy telling us before the game that during spring training, he thought Whiteside was one of his coaches, minor league staff.
They kept asking, who's the gray-haired guy? Is he a minor league coach? And somebody said, no, that's a guy who might be your backup catcher. Okay, all right, fair enough. He's actually done a really solid job behind the plate. This is just his 26th start this season. In 5 of his starts, the Giants have tossed shutouts. So he's doing something right. There's the ball hit. This could be 2. Held, belly arc the run. All over to Loney. Just like that, the Dodgers take a 7-1 lead into the bottom of the 4th. Walk-off wins this year for the Dodgers. 6 coming off the bat of Andre Ethier, who will hit 3rd this inning. In fact, you want to catch all the action of the 2009 baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. All begins October 7th with the divisional series. Our friends over at TBS taking care of business that first round. Here in the 4th, well, this is Joaquin, who came on in place of Brad Penny. Behind 2-0 to the pitcher, John Garland. And it's now 2-1. The 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2- 6 straight games, the Giants' bullpen has not allowed a run, and that included 6 pitchers last night getting the job done. For the second time this afternoon, John Garland grounds out to Freddie Sanchez. Time to take a look at the Hyundai in-game box score, introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Well, it's been 3 homers, the grand slam by Belliard, the back-to-back solo shots by Kemp and Loney that has done just about all of the damage. Rafael Furcal, 1 for 2. Singled, stole a base, and scored in the first. Looks at strike 1. Joaquin, a guy that spent most of the year at Double-A. 4-5 this year, a 2.77 ERA and 35 relief appearances. Opponents hit just a .197 against him. Nice movement on that pitch, but a little low.
For these young players, Chris, not just the importance of getting experience in the big leagues in September, but they are pretty much at a race to get there against Colorado, getting the experience, but also contributing to what could be a successful finish.
Swing and a miss by Furcal.
Things that you can't guarantee early in their careers, but when you can, you bring him up and don't let him sit. Make him participate. Bruce Bochy, throughout his career as a manager, has done the same thing, including when he was with the Padres. Let the young players play.
The 1-2, swing and a miss. So Joaquin has faced 3 men. He's gotten it done, and now a real challenge with Andre Ethier. I guess the good news is that it's not the 9th inning. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here, but it looks like maybe a pit stop on NASCAR on Fox. Actually, it's the 4 walk-off homers he has hit this year. A couple in June, 1 in August, and another this week against the Pirates. 4 walk-off homers. At the time with a couple of pretty good players, Jimmy Fox and Roy Sievers. Most walk-off homers in a year. That's pretty good company if you're Andre Ethier.
And there's time left.
Well, the Giants are going to need a miracle comeback this afternoon, perhaps, if Ethier's going to get a crack at it this afternoon. Ethier, a pair of flyouts today.
Well, Ethier's not hoping to do that today,
yeah.
But there's always drama at the very end of the season somehow here in the NL West.
One pitch by Joaquin in the dirt. Well, a win this afternoon, and the Dodgers' magic number to clinch the NL West gets down to 9. And Joe Torre was asked before the game, if you do clinch the NL West, how do you balance resting your guys as opposed to playing the home field advantage in the first round? Interestingly, he said it's more important to get guys healthy and ready for the playoffs than to get that home field advantage. Ball fouled away.
And Joe Torre it was quite interesting. He went around first saying, hey, home field, yes, it's important. Now the trade-off is, would you rest players to prepare them for postseason against trying to go for home field and obviously not getting inexperienced guys in there and winning more ball games? And said, wait a minute, rest is more important at this point. Home field, if you don't play well, it doesn't matter. We use a case of Mike Scioscia. And you say, yeah, Mike Scioscia with the Angels one time elected to rest his players a little bit more. And Joe Torre said, yeah, he rested his players and he beat me. You know what? It's to me, it's overrated. If you play the game well, it doesn't matter where you play.
And that was Torre's point. Ethier called out on strikes. So Joaquin has struck out 2 of the 4 men he has faced. Coming up, we'll talk to the Dodgers skipper in the top of the 5th. 7-1 Dodgers as we move on to the 5th. John Garland looking at Nate Shearholtz for the first time this afternoon. Shearholtz came on in place of Randy Wynn in a double switch back in the 3rd. He has struggled lately, just 9 hits in his last 55 at-bats. Down 0-2 in the count.
He's been part of an ever-changing roster outfield rotation for Bruce Bochy, and has found the way to get production out of every one of them.
That ball inside.
Maybe the numbers are not outstanding, but when you are 2.5 out of playoff spot this far, guys have been doing their job.
Well, he's a guy that's very valuable as well. Defensively, 10 assists. Tied for 8th most in the NL. He's got speed on the bases. Good athlete. And still young, just 25. The 2-2 delivery. Fouled away. You know, John Garland, obviously not one of those overpowering guys, but I talked to Joe Torre before the game, and he says he just handles himself beautifully out on the mound. And that can make such a difference, especially in the month of September.
And Joe says he's going to compete.
Loney with the backhanded play. He'll take it himself. And there is one down. Speaking of Joe Torre, we caught up with him between innings and talked to him about the new spark plug, Ronnie Belliard.
Well, he really has been. You know, we know he could play. I remember in his years with Cleveland when I was with the Yankees. He competes. And you know, with our middle guys playing all the time, we knew he could be a big benefit for us. Of course, you know, the home runs and all that stuff has certainly been a cherry on top for us.
Joe, tell me about the job by Russell Martin controlling and taking care of your rotation and your staff overall.
Well, you know, Russell has been a changed man for me this year. I mean, he's in there early every day. He really works with Osmus in going over game plans, basically. And, you know, these pitchers have certainly trusted him, and I think that's huge. You know, being a former catcher myself, I know how important it is to have that pitcher rely on you.
Joe, thanks very much. Continued success. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, Joe Torre, a 9-time All-Star. In fact, he caught Warren Spahn's 300th win. Not too bad.
Well, he flew under the radar sometimes, too, Mr. Torre. Former All-Star.
And league MVP as well.
Former broadcaster.
Apparently he's fallen asleep while listening to us. Oh, there he goes. He's back. Well, how about a 300-game winner? Throws it from the left side. Randy Johnson. Out in the bullpen these days. Activated from the 60-day DL this week.
Much different view from out there. As a starting pitcher, you're sometimes charting the games. If you're going to pitch the day after, you're in the dugout talking to your teammates. But here, it's a waiting game. Something Randy Johnson has not done a whole lot of, but I respect the fact that he volunteered and said, I will help you out of that bullpen.
He took the roster spot of Justin Miller, who was solid in that bullpen. He was placed on the 60-day DL with inflammation in his pitching elbow. It's been 4 years since the big unit last came out of the bullpen. That was while pitching for Joe Torre's Yankees back in 05. Velez hammers one, but Ethier right there for 2 down. Well, let's check out the Hyundai in-game box score for the Giants. Brought to you by Hyundai. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Just one extra base hit in the lot. And the only reason they're really on the board was because of the Manny error in the first. Freddie Sanchez looks at strike one.
That is now 17 first pitch strikes with 20 batters by John Garland. That will get it done.
Ball ripped foul. Fred Lewis on deck. Hit in the pitcher's spot. Should Sanchez reach? the ball. Merkin Valdez, right-hander, working. Sanchez checks it. Freddie Sanchez, a guy that grew up in Burbank, California, just a few miles from Dodger Stadium, a huge Dodger fan. Well, he doesn't want to say that too loudly these days. Hit .344 back in 2006. First batting champ for the Pirates since Bill Madlock, 1983.
Mad Dog. You can see why. The approach by Freddie Sanchez. Short, compact to the ball, but the hand very close to his body.
The 2-2 by Garland. And it's full.
And you saw the way he took that pitch. Very patient with his back foot. Make sure he stays back and reads. Did not jump at all in that breaking ball.
That ball popped up on the right side. Loney in foul territory. Fights the sun, but squeezes it. So 3 up, 3 down for Garland as we move to the bottom of the 5th. We'll see Manny with a 7-1 lead. By Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And the Giants down 7-1 here in the 5th. Break out their 3rd pitcher of the afternoon. It is 27-year-old Merkin Valdez. Hasn't worked in a week, so he should be plenty strong to work a few batters. Good job by Waldis Joaquin. Fred Lewis in a double switch out left. Eugenio Velez has moved from left to become the Giants' 3rd right fielder in 5 innings.
That's why Bruce Bochy, their manager, likes to say, I have a couple of wild cards. 3 of them. Uribe, Sandoval, and Velez. Guys that I can throw out there anywhere. They find a glove and they play for me. Nice flexibility.
Well, Valdez, first man he sees is Manny Ramirez, 15th on the all-time home run list.
He's a fastball pitcher, overpowering at times, but the command not always there. And his bullpen coach, Mark Carter, was telling me most times is finding that secondary pitch, but Manny is keying to see number one. He's going to see the heat.
And it's 2-0. 96 miles an hour. This from a guy who had Tommy John surgery 2007, missed the entire year. Was out most of 2008 because of a bad elbow. Ball ripped foul.
Here's a previous at bat by Ramirez and where this pitch called strike is. Now he disagrees with Bob Davidson.
And we saw Andre Ethier called out to end the fourth. In fact, Ethier had some words for Davidson, and so too did Joe Torre in between frames. There's a strike. 98. Valdez, 27 years old, originally signed as an undrafted free agent by the Braves a decade ago. Came over to San Francisco in the Russ Ortiz deal back in 2002. Well, let's take a look at the Zantac relief pitcher profile on Martin Valdez. Two and one with those 38 strikeouts. There's a ball.
Obviously, the Dodgers have this number.
As does Manny Ramirez, who's 2 for 3. Zantac. Heartburn attacking Zantac. The 3-2 delivery. And Manny once again walks for the second time today.
And Manny once again says, I know my strike zone so well that even though I didn't agree with the call previous, I am not going to expand the zone.
Now on to a guy that expanded the lead for the LA Dodgers. Matt Kemp. 25th home run of the year back in the third, a solo shot. And look at the numbers put up by Kemp this year. 308, 25, and 95. Looks at strike one. And obviously Albert Pujols is going to run away with the National League MVP for the third time. But this is a guy, I think, that might end up in the top 5 if people are paying attention, because not only what he does at the dish, but plays a Gold Glove center field, third in the NL with 34 steals. Really a complete player.
Because you got to think of him as a throwback. I mean, complete player. He relentlessly goes after balls out there. Here's happening in the third inning. Nice and easy swing.
True love is basketball, though. He's thinking about going to the University of Oklahoma on a hoops scholarship. Actually, Worley takes a basketball on just about every road trip. Wouldn't go around telling Joe Torre that.
I was going to say it might make some people nervous.
Just shooting free throws, you know. The 1-2 delivery outside.
And something that Matt Kemp was sharing with me yesterday was, he goes, you know, in the big moments now, I let the game come to me. And he goes, really, I saw Manny do it throughout last season, but until you're in that spot, you don't know how to react. But he goes, the playoff last year, understanding pressure was huge for me.
Second straight hitter to work the count full here in the 5th against Martin Valdez. James Loney in the on-deck circle.
And that, Cruz, is a huge difference in trying to create something that's not there and letting the game dictate what you do. Let it come to you.
That ball popped up. Uribe going out. Rowan coming in. It will be Rowan to snag it. And there is one down. So Matt Kemp didn't get done on that at bat, but he has gotten it done in the field all season long. It would be very surprising if he didn't walk away with a Gold Glove. Tied for first in the NL with 13 outfield assists as well, but this guy covers some serious ground.
Can he have fun too? That's also what's so refreshing about the whole thing. Well, sometimes the players take the game so seriously they don't enjoy it as much as they should, but the smile and having a great time after. I know he's a big admirer of Torrey Hunter, and talk about flashing a smile when you play the game like Torrey Hunter.
He's got a permanent smile like the Joker, but in a good way. Another solid swing by James Loney. Now 3 for 3. Manning takes it from first to third. So a huge afternoon for James Loney, who in his previous at-bat hit his first homer of the year at Dodger Stadium.
Drives it the other way as he is known to do.
And when he's right, he is going to left. And how about Manram putting on the Jets?
Well, he better. Ball slicing away from your center fielder, you have to think it's going to take a lot for me to not make it to third base.
The runners at the corners now for Casey Blake, who looks at strike one. Blake 0 for 1. He walked and scored back in the first on Belliard's slam. Ball tapped foul. I don't think there's a question that this Dodger lineup is probably good enough now to get to the World Series. There's, oddly enough, a lot of questions, though, about that pitching staff and that starting staff. Randy Wolf, who's had an outstanding year, will go tomorrow against Tim Lincecum. They make the playoffs. You got to figure that Wolf would be their game one starter. Maybe Kuroda, who has bounced back nicely after getting hit in the head back in August. Probably go in game two. And then after that, there's a lot of question marks. Do you go with John Garland, who's pitched well today? You go with Padilla. Chad Billingsley, who's an all-star, has just been, he got roughed up last night in a relief appearance. Here Blake, pounds one to Sandoval, and Sanchez drops it at second, and they're going to call him safe.
Here's a play that a lot of times goes for granted, and it's called out automatically, but Tim Sheeter right on top of that play. There's no control, no precision of this ball whatsoever by Sanchez. It's the right call.
So the missed opportunity to turn the double play allows Manny Ramirez to score and make it 8-1. And here comes the grand poobah, at least for this afternoon. Ronnie Belliard. A grand slam back in the first. He looks at a pitch high. For Belliard, his fourth career grand slam, that coming off of the former Dodger Brad Penny. Short outing for Penny, who lasted just 2 2/3 this afternoon. The block by Whiteside.
And Belliard and the Dodgers will be facing Belliard's former team coming up next week, the Nationals at Washington.
That's inside. So Velez having some issues. He's still probably trying to work out the rust. Hasn't pitched in a week. He's one ball away from loading him up again. 97 miles an hour on the strike. Russell Martin in the on-deck circle. The 3-1. That ball hit on out to right. Velez squeezes it. And the runners have to stay put. Well, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the playoff races continue to heat up as the Red Sox take on the Yankees. Is it a preview of the ALCS? We will see. And these same Giants will take on the Cubs up in San Francisco. All comes your way at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on Fox.
How about those rotations now? Boston. If you look at the wild card, 7 up on Texas, but I like the way things are turning out with Lester, Beckett, Buchholz. Had Matsuzaka, who had a great outing this week.
Russell Martin 0 for 2 on the afternoon. The Yankees with a 6-game lead over the Red Sox. As you can see, those magic numbers, just 3 to make it back to the playoffs. Something actually they didn't do last year, oddly enough.
C.C. Sabathia, Burnett, and Pettit right on top of that rotation.
And who knows what they're going to do with Java. The playoff games are longer than 3 innings, right?
He can go longer than 3.
Okay. Just making sure. I mean, sometimes when he pitches on Saturday, I think it's a little league start that he's doing. I mean, they only want to pitch him 3 or 4. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen with a guy, how they've handled him, isn't it?
It becomes an interesting wild card, I would say, during the postseason for George Girardi.
There's a ball hit to right by Martin. Loney's coming around. The throw up the line, and it's 9-1. For Martin, RBI number 49. Dave Rigetti is going to come out, try and calm down Valdez.
Well, Russ Martin swung the bat well. That is what he's doing. Using the opposite side of the field and not trying to pull the ball. And he got caught up in trying to pull the ball a lot earlier this season. Let that ball go deep on you and punch it.
John Garland.
John Garland looking at strike 1. 20-year-old left-hander Madison Bumgarner warming up in the pen. Garland trying to get the ball out of the infield for the first time today. Grounded out twice to Freddie Sanchez.
Of course, we had a chance to talk to Bruce Bochy in regards to how would he use Randy Johnson. Pretty much said, I have to really pick a spot. I can't call him a lefty specialist.
That ball was apparently not fouled away off the bat of Garland, so both runners move up 90 feet. Yeah, that is a good question in terms of what do you do with Randy Johnson, because he said, I can't put him in a pressure-packed situation. It's just been too long. It's been over 2 months since he's thrown in a big league game. Did throw a simulated game the other day where he actually hit John Bowker right in the back. Ball tapped in front of the mound. Valdez takes care of business, but the Dodgers tack on 2 more. It is 9-1 as we move to the 6th. Follow your favorite team no matter where you live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. By KFC. Now get the great taste of new Kentucky Grilled Chicken on the KFC Ultimate Value menu. And by Sears. Sears, life well spent. And well done by the LA Dodgers, at least so far, up 9-1 as we move on to the 6th. There is a new left fielder as Juan Pierre has replaced Manny Ramirez out there. The circus has left town, at least for the last few innings. John Garland, another solid start. Getting ready to square off against Fred Lewis. Lewis looks at an off-speed pitch for strike one. Lewis hitting .269, really a forgotten man in the outfield rotation for Bruce Bochy. Did come up with a critical pinch hit double last night. But he has started just 3 of the Giants' last 34 games, including today. He has all but said, this is pretty much my last year out in San Francisco. He is out of options, so even if they wanted to send him down at some point next year, that's not a possibility. He's basically said it's best if we end this relationship after this year.
Unfortunately for him, the player doesn't make the call. It'll be the organization how they can use him.
Swing and a miss.
Best thing you can do as a young player, you cannot control where you're going, getting called up, getting sent down. Control it. What you do every day on the field. When you don't have a chance to play, is how you approach batting practice. And every day, extra work. All those things count a lot because remember, you're also playing for other scouts watching.
Well, Randy Johnson, who's been playing an awfully long time, is now getting loose. There's a ball hit to center. Kemp takes care of it for out number 1. And time right now for a DirecTV game break. Out in St. Louis, scoreless game, but not anymore. Brendan Ryan, his 3rd big fly of the year. Just off outstretched glove. Is that Bobby Scales out there? Scaling the wall. Can't quite come up with it. 1-zip cards. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV. Kung Fu Panda stepping into the box. And if the Cardinals, by the way, hold on, their magic number will be 4 against the NL Central. Dodgers with the best record in the National League. But it's going to be a race to the finish. Sandoval rips one to right for his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
And the Cardinals were good before Matt Holliday. They just got way better.
Well, you're talking about Holliday. You're talking about DeRosa as well. Adding Smoltz. All those guys have made a huge difference. And the big 3 at the top of that rotation. And if you're the Dodgers, I think you're pretty much, aren't you hoping to face Philly even though they're defending World Series champs? Because talking about Carpenter and Wainwright and Pinheiro.
Then the Dodger matchup, you can have Kershaw and Wolf in the rotation. You got to face Ibanez, Utley, Ryan Howard. Well, without forgetting that the Dodgers obviously are on their way to winning the division. And the wild card will come out of the West regardless as of right now.
Well, Florida and Atlanta are still alive, but most likely it's going to be either this team, San Francisco, or Colorado. In which case the Dodgers cannot play the team from the West in the 1st round. Who is a better matchup for the Dodgers? Well, there's a ball hit by Uribe. It will be Kemp. And for more on the Dodgers starting rotation, come October, we send it out to Ken Rosenthal.
First baseman.
Chris, Jose, left-handers Randy Wolf and Clayton Kershaw likely will pitch the first 2 games of the playoffs for the Dodgers, assuming, of course, that Kershaw recovers from that dislocated non-throwing shoulder. Now, Going back-to-back with the lefties actually would be advantageous no matter who the Dodgers played. The Phillies' top sluggers, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Raul Ibanez, are all left-handed. The Cardinals' lineup is more right-handed, but their combined on-base slugging percentage against left-handed pitching is the lowest in the National League. Righty Hiroki Kuroda likely would start Game 3, and John Garland or Vicente Padilla could go Game 4. Where does that leave Chad Billingsley? Probably out of the rotation.
Kenny, thank you. So just as you said, Hosey, talking about maybe those lefties, top of the rotation. Travis Ishikawa lines one foul.
There's a lot of competition even throughout other contenders for that rotation. You take the Phillies and Cole Hamels finding his way back. Pedro Martinez, let's not forget about him. A.J. Happ, J.A. Happ, and then Cliff Lee.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal since he came over in that deal from Cleveland. He is the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. Kershaw's still a question mark. He hasn't pitched in over 2 weeks. Actually hurt himself crashing into the wall here at Dodger Stadium during BP, his non-throwing shoulder, and he's supposed to maybe get back into the bullpen this coming week on the upcoming road trip. Randy Wolf, really the most consistent of all those starters this year. Billingsley, a guy that made the All-Star team, and it's really been a mystery what's happened over the last 5 or 6 starts with him. Last night he came out of the pen and got lit up.
Look at how much Joe Torre has had to match up getting guys to start ball games. The first week alone, they used 6 starters. Kuroda was hurt right after his first start.
Well, it's also one reason why Dodger relievers have logged the second most innings in the National League. It has been a strain on that bullpen.
And they have good numbers. And from
Great
Mota to Troncoso to Broxton, these guys have brought it on. And Belisario, my goodness.
Ishikawa hammers it to center, and Matt Kemp's going to tie a long-standing record by putting all 3 out. And look who's coming into the game. Randy Johnson's first relief appearance in 4 years on the other side.
Make solid contact, get some elevation, and put your team on the board big time immediately. in the very first inning. What a great addition he has been to Joe Torre's Dodgers here in September.
From big time to big unit. Yes, that is 6'10" Randy Johnson back on the mound for the Giants for the first time since July 5th. Well, he has officially become the oldest Giants reliever in history. And I'm also going to go out on a limb and say the most decorated as well. Picked up his 300th win earlier this year. Turned 46 years old back on September 10th. And has yet to throw a strike. Better set the TiVo right now because it's not going to be a real long appearance by Randy Johnson. That was according to Bruce Bochy. He just said it might be a hitter or two, tops one inning.
But he wanted to get him out there.
Well, there's a ball ripped by Furcal. And that's a fair ball. That'll be extra bases. So a double by Rafael Furcal. His 25th of the year.
Just imagine, Chris, when you have a routine set up as Furcal takes advantage of a high pitch by Randy Johnson. As a starter, you know you're going to go warm up. You know how many pitches you need to throw in the bullpen before the game. And that's what he's been doing pretty much his whole career.
Well, born September 10th, 1963. This is just his 11th career regular season relief appearance. But he's had a couple in the postseason that are pretty much on the top of a baseball fan's brain. 1995 ALDS against the Yankees. 2001 World Series Game 7 where he was the winner, coming on in relief against Joe Torre and the Yankees. He has fallen behind Andre Ethier.
Johnson has a memorable one in relief. July 18th, 2001 at San Diego, struck out 16 hitters. There was a completion of a suspended game.
Ball hit by Ethier, and that's going to get down for more extra bases. Furcal scores to make it a 10 spot for the Dodgers. Joe Martinez, the right-hander, getting loose quickly for San Francisco.
Johnson, almost as expected, was going to be a little rusty, leaving the ball up. And you see guys getting around his fastball that easily. It's more than clear they're telling you we're timing it well. He does not have his best fastball.
Well, for Ethier, his 41st double of the year. And 99 RBIs now. Juan Pierre, a defensive replacement for Man Ram. The top of this frame, get a chance to swing the stick. And looking at ball 2.
Well, the other question here, Chris, is if the Giants go ahead and take over the wild card and make the postseason, is Randy Johnson part of the question? At this point, I have to say no.
Well, they've got some left-handers down in that bullpen that have done a very, very good job. Affeld came on, got a huge strikeout last night at Jim Thome. Runzler, young left-hander they just brought up, pitched very well last night as well. That is Martinez, who started the year in the rotation for Bruce Bochy. Ball lifted to left field and out of play.
Now, the bigger question to Randy Johnson out of his routine and comfort zone as a starter is how does he rebound after a relief outing? And how long can you stretch him for?
Well, it's a 2-2 pound against Juan Pierre. Pierre hitting .359 as a pinch hitter this year. That's a full count now.
Yeah, Randy Johnson in his heyday. Juan Pierre would not have stuck like this. Watch this. No, he would have been running.
For deep cover. There's a ball lifted to right. Velez squeezes it for the first out. Well, as we mentioned, 1995 ALDS against the Yankees. He did his thing. Mariners moved on to the ALCS, but 2001, after he had pitched the day before, after he had started, he came in and won that game. So once again, it opens up, and the big unit came trotting out here on September 19th. But it was a short outing as he faced 3 hitters. Randy Johnson says farewell to L.A. A cascade of boos. Randy Johnson, a 5-time Cy Young Award winner. Touch of class by the Dodger fans, as they know this may be the last chance they ever have a chance to see the big unit throw it. Lasted just a third of an inning, and now turns the ball over to a man 20 years his junior, Joe Martinez. Martinez making his 9th appearance of the year. Unfortunately, I'll get to that in a minute, but Ryan Garco in a double switch, taking over to Travis Ishikawa at first. Matt Kemp, who's had a big day with his 25th homer of the year back in the 3rd, a solo shot. Ball tap foul, and what I was going to say is, unfortunately for Joe Martinez, he has something in common with Kuroda over in the Dodgers dugout. Both struck by line drives on the head. Happened off the bat, Mike Cameron, back on April 9th. Martinez suffered 3 small hairline fractures on the right side of his head. A lengthy rehab process. Came back to make a few starts, sent back down, and now back with the big club. Kemp's just taking a beating there at the plate.
It's a Russell Martin shin guard threat. Going back to Martinez, and great story that he is coming back after getting hit, as we just mentioned, with the multiple fractures. But one thing you look for is twitching from after they deliver a pitch. It's one thing that he was able to get feedback on certain guys. It's not easy until you step on that mound and say, yeah, it's easy to say it. Make sure you don't flinch, but anything hit near you, any point of contact, you're going to always remember that moment. Same thing would happen to Perota over in Arizona. Reliever's coming up next after him. You see a couple of guys just kind of take for cover immediately.
Swing and a miss by Kemp, who I'm sure is just happy to get out of there healthy after following a couple of pitches off of his body.
First baseman, number 7, James Loney.
In fact, I wouldn't be shocked to see him get the rest of the afternoon off after that AB.
In fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea. There's plenty of guys in September call-ups.
Well, quite a day for James Loney. Singled in a run and scored back in the first. Launched his 13th homer of the season in the third. It was his first here at Dodger Stadium. And then singled and scored back in the fifth. Good stop by Whiteside. Verkal led off this frame against Randy Johnson with a double. He scored on an 8th-year double.
I think Joe Torre just went over and told Matt Kemp, you're done. Take it on in.
Loney ahead 2-0. Long afternoon for the Giants pitching staff. Got started off on the wrong foot. Brad Penny was looking to go 4-0 in a Giants uniform, and instead he lasted just 2 2/3 in his first trip back to LA since leaving the Dodgers after last season.
No matter what, Brad Penny has put himself in a good position when it comes down to jobs for next season. He has shown that he is healthy. He's going to compete for you. He loves the pressure. He wants to be in the middle of this. Things did not work out for Brad Penny over in Boston. But he knows he's a much better pitcher than what he showed the Red Sox.
Loney with a 3-1 count against Joe Martinez. Ball hit up the middle. Uribe gloves it. Throws. And that'll do it. Although the Dodgers tack on yet another run. We'll return to LA after a word from your local Fox station. by Budweiser, the great American lager. On to the 7th here in Chavez Ravine. John Garland looks at Aaron Rowan, who flies one to Matt Kemp's replacement, Jason Repko. Right on cue. Thank you, Jason. Time right now for a DirecTV game break. We'll check in on that AL Central battle up in Minnesota. Nick Punto the shot, but Miguel Cabrera says, I'll take that, thank you. Force out to end the inning, and then their new acquisition from Baltimore, Aubrey Huff. Slash on the right way with his left. Placido Polanco ups and he gets home. 2-1 in the 8th. Tigers with the lead. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV. Well, one of the youngsters for the Giants stepping into the box, Buster Posey, making just his second big league at bat. Posey, first round pick out of Florida State in 2008, the 5th overall selection. And he checks one on over to Loney, tosses over to Garland.
First baseman, the 24th.
And anybody remember this great moment from the ALCS a few years ago?
Now Maglio Ordonez. In the air, left field. The Tigers march to the World Series.
More magic coming your way this fall on Fox. Game 1 of the ALCS, Friday, October 16th. Will the Tigers be there?
It is absolutely thrilling to watch those moments and the way things happen. In postseason, you just never know which hero is going to come up. And you could be in a slump, and before you know it, you get a chance to play. Rise up with a big moment. And as the AL Central looks right now, what the Tigers don't want is a repeat of how that 06 season ended. Because they ended up winning the wild card because Minnesota was charging ahead and they eventually won the Central, the Twins.
Well, if you listen to Ozzie Guillen of the Chicago White Sox, he basically is saying the Tigers are trying to give the division away. It's there for the taking for somebody, and Minnesota, even without Justin Morneau in that lineup, the stress fracture in his back, making a hard charge, but down 2-1. This is Ryan Garco, who looks at an off-speed pitch that just missed, apparently, according to Bob Davidson.
Never take the Twins for granted. Leadership from Billy Smith down to Ron Gardenhire, year after year, consistent.
Tough go for Garco, who came over in a July trade from the Cleveland Indians. Just his 3rd at bat since September 6th. Didn't have much of a chance to prove himself, but didn't really get it done in his first few weeks with the Giants. And he's not going to get it done here, although the Giants are done. It is stretch time in LA, 10-1.
Wonderful night for me. I really feel lucky to be here. And I want to thank you for that warm welcome.
An amazing night Wednesday evening at Comerica Park as 91-year-old Hall of Fame broadcaster Ernie Harwell came out, wanted an opportunity to say thank you to all the great fans in Detroit. Of course, we wish him the best. He's facing terminal cancer, but he came out and he just was simply amazing. And here's how he closed his evening in Detroit.
And I certainly want to thank you from the depth of my heart for your devotion, your support, your loyalty, and your love. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Well, both teams stood and applauded. Several of the players and coaches snapped off photos because they were seeing a legend.
Legend, and somebody that to this day just stays as humble as ever, always willing to approach broadcasters, experienced or not, and share that knowledge. And just the passion that comes through, how much he loves the game, is quite obvious from the Tigers out to all throughout baseball.
Well, it was interesting. He approached the Illich family, Dave Dombrowski, and he said, listen, I would like an opportunity just to say thank you to the fans. Really, I mean, let's be honest, it's the other way around. I mean, it was an honor to listen to that man call a baseball game. Do it with such class as well, and obviously we wish him the best. The action does continue here in the seventh with Joe Martinez, who came out in relief of Randy Johnson last inning. This is going to start to look a little bit like,
don't say it,
yeah, the end of March, as there are wholesale changes, including in the batter's box for the Dodgers. Blake DeWitt, 4 for 15 as a pinch hitter. All right, well, Torres is getting loose out in center field. John Bowker is out there in right. A few more changes to get you all caught up. Now Rowlinger is out at short. And Franson at second. Buster Posey behind the plate. And Blake DeWitt lifts one to right center. And Blake DeWitt is going to touch that home plate after his second pinch hit homer.
The type of game that you want to be a part of once you get the opportunity to play and your regular players spread the lead like that, and you get ready by studying in there and see how they're pitching other guys.
Well, there's Belliard, lifts one. Torres is going to squeeze it for an out. Today's game is presented by Budweiser. It is sponsored by One A Day Men, the official multivitamin of MLB, specifically formulated for men. By Pepsi. Pepsi is the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. And by Hyundai Assurance. A little certainty in uncertain times. And this certainly is a butt whooping this afternoon by the LA Dodgers. 11-1. They've scored in every frame except the second and the fourth. Russell Martin, 1 for 3 with an RBI back in the fifth.
The way things are looking in potential matchups, we talk about Dodgers-Phillies. The Dodgers are 4-3 this season against the Phils, 2-5 against the Cardinals.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't know if you want to take your shot with those big three horses at the top of the St. Louis rotation. Now, granted, it's Lee and Hamels on that left side from Philly. They also have the experience of having knocked off the Dodgers last year in the NLCS.
Well, my big thing is regular season is different. Then you get into October, the bell rings, a different monster.
Clayton Kershaw, youngster, just 21. What role will he play for Joe Torre and his team? I think obviously the biggest question surrounding the defending champs, and maybe it's the only question with them, is that closer situation. Brad Lidge straightened himself out a little bit in those last few appearances, but really has been a mess for about the last month, if not longer.
They have the afternoon of Ryan Matson. He drove extremely hard too, but there really hasn't been a clear-cut guy challenging Brad Lidge for that job.
So there's Wolf and Kuroda. Maybe they'd be 1 and 2, although Ken Rosenthal seemed to think that if Kershaw were healthy, it'd be Wolf and then Kershaw. Here's your National League leaders. The Dodgers will remain with the best record in the NL, followed closely by St. Louis and then Philly. Part of the story this afternoon is actually the man at the dish, John Garland, getting another plate appearance. His 4th one of the afternoon. Okay. Anytime your starting pitcher gets 4 ABs, that's a good thing for you.
And John Garland, where does he play into this whole deal as we talk big picture here with the rotation? You know, some of the best acquisitions you make in postseason come from your rotation going into that bullpen. A lot of times a player you couldn't get because of the July 31st deadline, and you see Garland go down in strikes. Teams know the depth, the importance of having guys ready to go and healthy, more than anything healthy, because there's going to be competition all the way through the end, not only in the bullpen as to who stays on the active roster, but also who falls over from the rotation to the bullpen. Let me tell you, every manager takes it as a plus.
Well, here's a solid backup for many, many years. Juan Castro getting in at bat after a nice day by Rafael Portal and laces one promptly into right in front of John Bowker. And that'll bring back Andre Ethier. Ethier 1 for 4 in the afternoon, an RBI double. Back in the 6th. Giving him 99 RBI on the season.
Well, the big factor, for instance, we talk playoff situation, is that division series, the way it's structured, also tells you a lot about how your roster rotation and bullpen are structured because of the off days.
Ethier looking for his first career 100 RBI season. Boy, with Ethier and Kemp and Manny, is there a more productive outfield in baseball?
They're on. And right now, they are coming on. It's a threat. It's not one of those situations where you can pick, who do I pitch to? How do I match up my bullpen?
Ethier looks at a called strike. Martinez came on in relief of Randy Johnson in the 6th. He was telling me yesterday the guy has never owned a car in his life. He's from Orange, New Jersey. Never needed a car. Grew up close to the city. I said, what about the minor leagues? Don't you guys get cars to like sleep in and stuff? He said, nah.
Cars to sleep in?
Isn't that what they do in the minors? They don't make enough money, so
well,
you know.
I know that I've heard stories about guys pitching in a couple $100 each and buying an old clunker somewhere and then leaving it behind somewhere too.
Two men on, 2 men out here in the 7th. Ethier checks in time. Ball gets away from Posey, but runners don't advance. The 3-2. And ball 4. Stop me if you've heard this before today, but the Dodgers have the bases loaded.
You just took one right out of Manny Ramirez's page, right there, right out of his book. If it's not there, don't try to create it. Even though, think about this, he's sitting at close to 100 RBIs, Chris, and then this could have been an at-bat where he could have been quite anxious.
Juan Pierre replaced Manny Ramirez and was actually the lone hitter that Randy Johnson got out this afternoon. Still looking for that first career grand slam. Dodgers already have one earlier in the day by Ronnie Belliard back in the first. Ball ripped foul as Garco gloves it.
Well, Joe Torre's success, obviously because he starts this game with a comfortable 5-game lead over Colorado, but the Dodgers have taken care of business, Chris, within the division. 42 and 23.
Well, you win within your division, you are looking good.
And the Giants themselves winning record within the division, 31 and 30, which has kept them within reach.
Ball ripped again, foul. This time past a diving Garco. Garco, another Southern California native.
Did he mean to dive there, or
I think
momentum?
it was definitely momentum. Yeah.
You don't see that many guys dive way out there in foul territory like that. Great effort.
I think Garco likes playing, though, on the Giants because he's definitely not the slowest player on the team. As long as Benji Molina's around.
How far he is.
Yeah. That's a good effort. You got to get the uni dirty a little bit.
Friends and family who are special.
And then base hit by Juan Pierre as Martin scores to make it 12-1. Well, Dave Righetti wearing out a new path from the dugout out to the pitcher's mound this afternoon. Seems like just about every inning he's made a pit stop. Well, check the calendar. The Dodgers have been in lead or share the lead every day since April 19th. Now, yeah, it went down a little bit. Remember, the Rockies made that hard charge, but here we are on September 19th. It's now a 5-game lead. Rockies will be in Arizona tonight. Hamels against Scherzer in that one. And a called strike. Jason Repko getting his first at bat of the day. 0 for 4 on the season. And this is going to get the Giants out of the inning. But the Dodgers keep adding on and lead it 12-1 as we head to the 8th. pen a breather this afternoon. He has worked at least 6 innings in now each of his first 4 starts with his new club. Castro over at short. DeWitt, who hit the homer, over at third. This is John Bowker, hitting .205 this season. Just 19 games. Hit .342 down at AAA. Looking at one high. Well, Garland is a guy that Joe Torre's going to have to seriously look at come playoff time in that rotation. There is a called third strike. So Garland continues to mow him down. And in the meantime, let's give you a direct TV game break. Back to the dome, and if Jason Kubel fisting one off with Justin Verlander, here comes Denard Span sprinting in. So too does Orlando Cabrera. And then Michael Kadire, his 4th homer since Monday. 28th of the year in his bounce-back season. The Twins have bounced all the way back and lead it 6-2 as they move to the 9th. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV.
Here they come again. No secret whatsoever, year after year, with the Twins.
So that deficit could be 2, and those 2 teams have tomorrow to play and then 4 more in Detroit the final week of the season. Kevin Frandsen hitting just a .146. Looks at a ball. And there's a base hit for Frandsen from San Jose. And another DirecTV game break. The Cubs, they would tie it in the 9th as Sam Foltz scores on the sac fly, but Brendan Ryan hit a homer earlier in the game. Responsible for both runs is the former Cub, Mark DeRosa, scores the game winner. Remember to follow your favorite market team only on DirecTV. So the Cardinals, another win this afternoon. And they're going to stay on pace with the Dodgers as they fight it out for the best record in the National League. Fred Lewis is swinging a miss. So the Cardinals' magic number down to 4.
Beautiful thing once again for Tony La Russa. Year after year, challenges come and go, and steady, guiding that ship.
Lewis rips one to left. Pierre, though, comes in and snags it.
Manny Ramirez was out in his serving his 50-game suspension. There was a guy here that became pretty much the fan favorite. That was Juan Pierre. All out every day. Plays the game right.
And more importantly, when Manny came back at the beginning of July, didn't make a fuss. Knew what was going to happen.
But the fans did.
Well,
at one point,
that's the fans' job.
That's right.
You know, I mean, you can understand that. Rich Aurelia, a longtime Giant, stepping in. Pops one up. Belliard, Loney. It'll be Belliard. And that'll do it. We move to the bottom of the 8th. It is 12-1. Official partner of Major League Baseball Road Trips. By Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by EAS. Don't waste your workout. Finish it with EAS MyoFlex. Well, the Giants have their 6th pitcher of the afternoon. It is Madison Bumgarner, 20-year-old left-hander, making his 2nd big league appearance. Throws strike 1 to Doug Mankiewicz. Bumgarner turned 20 years old back on August 1st. Randy Johnson already had 8 wins by the time that Mr. Bumgarner graced the earth. First round pick of the Giants back in 2007. David fouls one off.
Talented young man who came into the scene and really impressed a lot of people in San Francisco and perhaps around baseball and the local product here in Southern California.
And he gets a strikeout. Well, how about some sounds of the game with Bruce Bochy and Bob Davidson?
Lewis being the pitcher spot. Fred Lewis.
Fred Lewis, okay. Thanks, Boach. How's your kid doing?
Doing good, guys. He's about to become a fireman.
Oh, is he? Where at?
San Diego.
What's he farm there? What's he farm? Where do they farm there?
Oh, fireman.
Fireman. Oh, I thought you said farmer.
I'm from the South. We don't compete or work.
Very funny. Well, I've heard maybe umpires being accused of losing their sight, but apparently Mr. Davidson losing his hearing as well.
Well, he asked again. So
yeah, he did ask. Clarification.
Second baseman number 3,
Bochy,
Ronnie Belliard.
what an outstanding job, again, managing a ball club all the way to the end.
Well, during that time, Blake DeWitt grounded out. So 2 down for Ronnie Belliard, who really got the party started back in the 1st with his 4th career grand slam. Has just been a monster since coming over from the Washington Nationals. This was a guy that was an all-star second baseman in Cleveland, won a World Series with the Cardinals in 06. And will be an important piece to the puzzle come October this year.
Ronnie was telling me before the game that the pressure he feels in winter ball, playing in the Dominican Republic, is bigger than the one in the big leagues. He goes, because I understand every word they yell at me when I don't do a good job.
Pretty impressive by the 20-year-old lefty. We go to the 9th. Brad Penny brought the heat. It's just that the Dodgers were hitting it all over the place. Topping out at 98. John Garland, not quite as strong when you're talking about the radar gun, but very, very solid. 1 run in 8 innings. And now time for our Just for Men hair color holds leaders. Ramon Concoso doing a solid job along with Ronald Belisario. Function Quo as well. Just as these relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. And the Dodgers have made that call to the bullpen. It is Jeff Weaver, born in Northridge, California, the next suburb over from where John Garland was born in Granada Hills. Weaver on for the 26th time, 6-4. He's made a few spot starts this year. He's been effective out of the bullpen as well. And will face Ryan Rollinger. 1 for 10 on the season. This one all Dodgers from the first inning on. The Giants scored their lone run thanks to a Manny Ramirez error in part back in the top of the first. Since then, 12 unanswered by the Dodgers. And time for our Pepsi Clutch performer. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulates John Garland. He is today's MLB Clutch Performer of the Game, presented by Pepsi. Learn more about MLB Clutch Performer of the Month, awarded at PepsiClutch.com.
All about movement over velocity. And you know what? The best pitching coach he's ever had, he still admits it, his mother watches every game and mechanically knows him up and down and says, this is what you didn't do right. And you know what, Mom? Today, you ought to be very proud of your young man.
Gave up no earned runs in 8 innings, 7 hits, did not walk a batter. Struck out 3 along the way. Jesus Guzman stepping in against Weaver. 2 for 16 on the season. There's a strike. Well, the Giants will get back at it tomorrow afternoon. Tim Lincecum, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, taking on Randy Wolf. That ball popped up. And foul. A.J. Ellis was giving chase, new catcher. Well, Lincecum, Joe Torre told us he is the best pitcher they have faced this season.
I bet there's a lot of people that agree with Joe Torre. Talk about dominance.
Well, Randy Wolf, he is the king of the no decision this year, but he has pitched very, very well.
You know how anxious he is to pitch in October?
He hasn't been there yet.
Randy Wolf, you're right.
Pretty good matchup tomorrow. The 1-2 outside. My guess is that the two teams have combined to almost use a full 53-man roster in the NFL today. It has been crazy.
NFL's tomorrow, but I know what you're saying.
Well, speaking of the NFL, Fox NFL Sunday, the guys return to tell you about the inspiration that is driving the Eagles' defense this season. Plus, after a rough start against the Packers, Jay Cutler and those 4 picks, can they bounce back? It's all on the 4 Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern. And a base hit by Guzman.
Center fielder number 59, Andres Torres.
So back-to-back hits by the Giants. Trying to get some rally started against Jeff Weaver. They really couldn't get much going against John Garland after the first. Andres Torres stepping in. And looks at an off-speed pitch for a strike. Torres hitting .250, 3 homers, 17 ribs. It's the one inside. That's ripped foul.
Of course, you know, Torres, as we take a look at the moment for the Dodgers.
That's Albert on the right. And Guillermo Mota on the left.
A track and field star turned ball player. He says, I'm still learning.
That one outside.
Talk about the Cardinals and their success in 2006. This was a big reason. Jeff Weaver.
He too was a late season pickup, just like Ronnie Belliard that year. And there is a called strike 3. At this point in the afternoon, young man, you better be swinging the bat. Down 12-1. Well, here at Chavez Ravine, occasionally you'll see the celebs like Jenna Elfman. Pretty good first pitch. And Jessica Lowndes singing God Bless America. She's an actress you see on the new version of 90210. Big swing and a miss by Buster Posey. 0 for 2 now in his big league career. This guy undoubtedly the future behind the dish for the Giants. The question is, will that future be next year? Benji Molina, a free agent at season's end. There's a called strike, 0-2.
The option to bring Molina short term to guide this young man and teach him the ropes as a big league catcher is another option.
The 0-2 delivery by Weaver. This is low. Well, listen, this Giants team is stacked when it comes to the rotation. Obviously, Zito's still under contract. Lincecum, Kane, saw Baumgartner, just 20 years old.
There's no weak link in that rotation.
The question is, what do they do with this lineup? And there is the first big league hit by Buster Posey. A little flare to right.
It's a big moment for this young man. All that time, practices by Mom, and we follow that ball. Take good care of that.
This makes number 23, Ryan Garco.
Murphy helping out with the honors there.
Mom taking you to practice, washing the unis, and son, I'm doing this, and your dream, I'm going to push you over, and I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you by working hard. Congratulations.
So there is a little good news for the Giants on this day where they're losing 12-1. Ryan Garcos looking at a called first strike. Garco grew up in Southern California, Servite High School, where he was a teammate of Ben Francisco down there.
Good catcher, too. At one point, Ryan Garco.
So he played at Stanford and in the minors with the Indians. This one popped up on the mound, and Weaver's actually going to grab it for out number 2. Time for our Holiday Inn game-changing play. Brought to you by Holiday Inn. Signs of change are everywhere, including back in the first when Ronnie Belliard smashed it with 3 guys on. His 4th career grand slam is our Holiday Inn game-changing play. And that one pretty definitive.
Pretty much put the Giants on hold immediately, and with the offense as aggressive as they are, John Garland took advantage of that and said, I'm pitching my game, forget the box score, forget that scoreboard. He was brilliant.
John Bowker looks at ball one outside. Bowker part of the wholesale changes in the latter stages of this game by both managers. Trying to get those regulars back on the bench. A day game after a night game. Steamy afternoon at Chavez Ravine. A little bit of everything by the Dodgers this afternoon. 4 home runs, a grand slam, great starting effort by John Garland. They will shrink their magic number to 9 in the National League West. Once again, the Dodgers looking for back-to-back division titles for the first time since 77 and 78. That ball lifted foul. DeWitt's going to give it a look, but it reaches the seats. Well, tonight on Fox, you got Cops, followed by America's Most Wanted. Keep it tuned right here to Fox, beginning at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And if my family shows up on that show one more time at Cops, I'm telling you, we're going to have a little chat. The 2-1. Ball lifted foul again.
As long as it's not you,
yeah, we're good. $52,438. What's left on their feet. And this should do it. As Juan Pierre squeezes it for out number 3. A grand beginning by Ronnie Belliard and a shaky close, but a job done by Jeff Weaver. 12-1 your final, so now the Dodgers lead the